Hello, everybody. Long time no see. It's Mr. Toes. Mr. Toes. How are you, Mr. Toes? Oh, there's Miss Daisy. She's coming along to tell you how much she loves you. She's here to tell you how much she loves you, huh? And we love you too, Mr. Toes. You don't come out very often. Yeah. So everybody can hear you. And there's Sylvester way out there in the distance. And there's Mr. Alex. Hello, Mr. Alex. Everybody's just been really sleepy, huh, Mr. Toast? Yeah. And there's Miss Maggie and Miss Marigold. And there's Gus Gus. And there's formerly Linus. We made a mistake. As so-called Linus got older, I should be seeing something, and I am not. So Linus is a chick. My mistake. Right. So instead of having Lucy and Linus, I decided to kind of keep it along the spooky, since they grew up during spooky season. And I decided to call her Mina. So we'll have Lucy and Mina now. Everybody's gone already. Let's see, where'd they go, Toes? There they is. There's everybody. There's Miss Mina and Miss Sylvester, Mr. Sylvester. And Miss Daisy just went off there. There's Miss Austin. Oop, hi, Sylvester. What you doing, buddy? And Mr. Toes is here. And there's Miss Maggie. There's Miss Katie. Hi, Katie's cat. And Marigold. And Daisy again. And Gus Gus. What you doing, Gus Gus? Hi, buddy. Yeah. Are you going to speak to me anymore? No? Okay. There's Miss Lucy. Hi, sweetheart. Mr. Gus Gus is no longer speaking to me because I had him neutered. So he had his surgery last week. Is it last week or the week before? No, the week before last. It's been a long time since I had posted a video. Things have been really crazy at work. Very long hours, so I haven't had much time for anything. Focus, camera. There we go. So we did manage to get Gus Gus to the vet. And it was quite a feat. Because Gus Gus unexpectedly freaked out when I was trying to get him in the carrier, and he went ballistic. And just in sheer panic, nothing malicious about it, just sheer panic. And he not only destroyed my back room, but he injured himself, which thankfully he turned out to be okay. And he also sent me to the urgent care, because he ripped my arm open and my hand open with his claws. He did not bite me, but he tore me up with his claws. And I had to go get put back together a bit. So I had to heal for 2 weeks before I could do much anything else. But luckily he was okay. He scared me pretty bad though. Because he lunged for the window and he caught the window. He ripped the curtains apart, ripped the bracket out of the wall, came down with the curtains into the bookshelf, and pulled the stereo off of the bookshelf and on top of his head. So it was very scary. He went flying off to the side, stereo came down on top of him. He came running out from under that whole mess, and his face was just full of blood. So I thought for sure that he really seriously hurt himself. He had blood coming out of his nose. It was horrible. So I managed to wrap him in a towel and get him into the cat trap, which is more of like a cage. And I was able to get him in there instead of the carrier. And got him down to the vet, and they took a good look at him. And fortunately, he was fine. He just bumped his nose really hard when the stereo came down. Probably smacked him in the face, and he, we don't know if it was the curtain rod or part of the stereo, but something cut his forehead right above his eyebrow. He got a gash, and that's where all the blood was coming from on his face. Turns out cats are very similar to us. When you get a cut, it bleeds and bleeds and bleeds, but it wasn't bad at all. So he turned out to be fine, thank goodness. He had no internal injuries or anything. And he was able to be neutered, right, Gus Gus? So now we don't have to worry about you anymore. And now we can take our time spaying Miss Daisy and Miss Marigold. And when they're old enough, Miss Lucy and Miss Mina. Because now you're the only one left in the house with ammo, and you're fixed, so we don't got to worry about it. So as long as I just got to make sure nobody gets out. Which shouldn't be that hard. We've been okay so far. Knock on wood. Right. Right. It's Miss Marigold. So it was a very scary time. But he turned out to be okay, and now he's neutered, so we don't have to worry about him anymore. And I am okay now. Everything is pretty much closed up, except for my thumb. He had a pretty deep gash he took out of my thumb when his back claw spun around. So the room looked like a crime scene. I had to do some serious cleaning in there because there was like blood splatter all over the place. It was like a CSI moment. But yeah, it was some of it was his blood, some of it was my blood. Because apparently he got my arm and my thumb so bad, and I was so worried about him that I wasn't really paying attention. So I got him taken care of, and I noticed there was still blood everywhere, and I was like, what's going on? And it turned out to be me. So I had all over my hand and all down my arm and all over my clothes, so I really look like something from a crime scene. So it was an adventure. I've never had a cat freak out as bad as he freaked out. You know, I've had cats that get crazy. You know, Miss Maggie, when I did her, I had to use the net. He was freaking out so bad I couldn't even get him in the net where he could calm down. You know, the way I handled Miss Maggie was I got a big net that's made to handle like raccoons and possums and stuff like that. And I got her in it, and I just kind of stood over her with the net over her. And of course she went nuts trying to get out, but she exhausted herself within like a couple of minutes. And then I just picked her up and put her in the cage, in the trap, to take her in to be fixed. And I was going to do the same thing with Gus Gus, but he was running so fast I couldn't even catch him in the net. He was literally bouncing off the walls, and I mean, he knocked over all my music, so I had all my old CDs scattered all over the place. Like I said, he tore the curtains out of the wall, he tore the bookshelf down, he tore the stereo down, spilled litter boxes everywhere, so the place was a complete disaster. But everything is all back together. Like I said, that was like 2 weeks ago. There's Chunky Monkey. What you doing, Chunky? And he turned out to be just fine. So, Mina's gonna get Uncle Chunk. She gonna get you, Uncle Chunk. So we had a very productive day today. We managed to take apart all the water fountains, you know, the water fountain and the water dishes and everything, and clean everything real good. And then we had a funny smell coming out of the middle room there. Despite cleaning all the cat boxes and putting fresh litter in there, right, Gus Gus? So even though we did that, it still smelled funny in there, so we pulled the futon away from the wall and looked behind it and under it, and we found out that somebody's been using that as a bathroom. I think it's Miss Mina. Because I've seen Miss Lucy use litter box. I know she uses a litter box, but Miss Mina, for some reason, has decided that behind the futon is the place to go. So we not only had to clean up all that nasty, yucky mess, but then I had to shampoo the carpet because it was a lot of nasty, yucky mess. And it smelled really bad. Yep. So we did that. So we have got everything a nice vacuum, and we shampooed the carpet in there, so now that room doesn't stink anymore. And got things cleaned up a little bit, and I'm just got some laundry going and watching some YouTube on my television here. And that's pretty much it. I'm enjoying a nice relaxing day for a change. Pete and Miss Phoebe are outside. Everybody else is safe inside. And they're all doing pretty good. I did manage, the guy came out and looked at my roof. And it turns out that the roof now was over 15 years old. And the roof is basically failing. I've got more shingles are coming off every day, so it's time to replace the roof, which is going to be very, very expensive. And insurance will not help me because of the age of the roof. So, yeah. So that's been my other adventure I'm having. So now, on top of all the other crazy stuff that I've got going on, we have to have the roof replaced. So I'm waiting to hear that. Fortunately, they have a payment plan, and their interest rate is actually better than most of the banks around here that I checked with. So I'm going to go with the company that's going to replace the roof, since they had the best deal. And things are going to be a little extra tight for the next year, but my car will be paid off next year. So once the car is paid off, everything will go back to normal. So we'll just have to cut some corners for a year or so until the car is taken care of, and then everything will be okay again. Speaking of the car, I did find out that I can get it fixed. And they can put the skid plate on there. It's not that much. It's only about $200, which compared to the roof is nothing. So I might try to go ahead down there sometime in December and get that fixed and take care of that before I have to start paying on the new roof. So their payment plan is a 5-year plan. It's kind of like a car loan, because it's almost like buying a car. Not quite that expensive, but it's pretty expensive. So, right, guys, say we don't have several $1,000s just laying around to buy a new roof with. So, yeah, we're going to have to pay that off for a few years. Right, guys? Oops. Let's drop the phone. What are you doing, Miss Mina? I see you. I am terribly sorry for the injustice, Miss Mina. You are not a dude. Yeah, they're about 3 months, almost 4 months old now. And I was looking at her the other day, walking by, and I'm like, I should be seeing something back there, and I'm not seeing anything, so. She's a dude, baby. She's not a dude, baby. Right, Miss Austin? Right, Mr. Touge? You and your polydactylness. Show them your feet. Can we see your feet? It says, no, you're not allowed to see my feet. Okay. He's doing all right. He had a little bit of a relapse, and some of those sores started coming back on his hind end. And I thought to myself, uh-oh, I'm going to have to get him into the vet again. Which I was preparing myself, because that's also an active... It's an athletic event to get him in a carrier, because he does not want to go. But I lucked out. What you doing, Miss Maggie? because it seemed to, the episode seemed to stop. I noticed when he gets a little stressed out by some of the others, it's like it flares up. And then he calms down again and everything gets scabs and then they heal and his hair grows back, so it's like he fights it all on his own. So I keep an eye on him just to make sure. I don't see any sign of fleas on him or anything like that. And right now he looks pretty good. He's got all his hair back. Again, it was getting a little thin on his back end and I was worried, but he seems to be doing okay. There's Will. Hello, Will. What you doing, buddy? And Miss Austen. Which when Miss Austen calls Lucy and Mina, Maggie comes running too, which I think is sweet. Right, Miss Maggie? Say after all these years, when your mama calls, you still come running to her. Which I think is adorable. But everything is okay. So we got past Halloween all right. And we're almost through the really bad time at work. Oops, sorry. Come on, camera. Focus. Focus. There we go. We're almost through the really bad time at work. We had very, very heavy labor. We had a lot of stuff going on. A lot of orders to fill, and everybody wanted their orders at the same time. And the bad part is when you're dealing with live goods, like flowers, it's not like you can make them ahead of time and set them on a shelf and then just pack it when it's time to ship. Of course, that doesn't work that way because it'll be dead by the time it gets there if you pack it too early. So the result of that has been, 11-hour days, which are starting to get old now. But at least now that's finally coming to a stop. So everything is going good. Things are quieting down now, which I'm grateful that all those people out there that work so hard in the warehouse are finally going to get a chance to rest. And we're hoping to be able to get all the trucks out so that they can take a full 4-day weekend. Because that's the one thing that is an unfortunate situation when you're dealing with a company that has to fill things for Black Friday. You don't necessarily get a 4-day weekend for Thanksgiving. Like some places close Thursday and Friday for Thanksgiving here in the U.S. And you get a nice 4-day weekend for the holiday. But not if you work retail, and not if you deal with any kind of a retail-based or wholesale-based trying to get it into the stores. So that's the drawback. But that's okay. We'll make it all work out, but hopefully we'll get it so that if no trucks have to go out, at least the warehouse crew can get a nice 4-day weekend. And then just us office people have to worry about getting things done. But it's usually a nice, quiet, relaxed day when we do go in. It's a different kind of atmosphere. I guess that's why I don't mind doing it. Because everything is just kind of different, all the other businesses are closed. So you get to get a whole lot of stuff done. Sometimes I can get more done in that one day than I do in my whole week at work when I'm trying to do stuff. So it'll all work out somehow. So that's where we are right now. What are you guys doing? No, you can't play with the scrub brush. Let's get up and get that done. Hang on just a minute now. Mama's got to find her shoes. Yeah, I like to walk around barefoot. I used to walk around barefoot all the time, but then I got old. And now I can't do that anymore because of the plantar fasciitis. I get a tendon in the bottom of my foot that acts up if I walk around barefoot. And then I can't even move because it hurts so bad. So, what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? No, you can't have that. What'd you do with the other brushes? There's the other brushes. Okay. let's put these other brushes back where they belong, please. Got little fuzzies in my nice clean brushes. Fuzzies in the nice clean brushes. Let's get that up there. Yeah, that goes in here. It's like that little puzzle game when you were a kid, right? Which one belongs in what hole? That one just kind of sits there like that, actually. Yes. What are you guys doing? That's the box my little scrub brushes come in. Yes, that's the box my scrub brushes come in. That's the extending handle that I don't need. The rest of it, excuse me, is charging up. Yeah, I see you. Okay, but what do you mean? You want to eat supper now? It's only 3:30 in the afternoon. It's too early to eat supper. You'll be hungry again. Okay. Well, I tell you what, we'll have a brief break, and I'll give them something for a late lunch. Now, don't get hangry, Sylvester. You got my big green bucket in the sink there. That's my beach pail. Yeah. I use this when we go to the beach to haul beach water in. Right? Right? Alright, I guess everybody is hungry, huh? Yeah? You want your supper now? You do? Okay. Alright. Well, say our cell phone for some reason is having trouble focusing today, so sorry this video is a little bit more blurry. But everything is going okay. Everyone is doing good. We've just been cleaning house, trying to fix the disaster that these guys make on a daily basis, these guys. Destroy my house every chance they get. Gus is terrified of me because he thinks I'm going to take him to the vet again. Oh, there's Fufu. Hello, Fufu. There's a good girl. And Miss Daisy. Yes, Miss Daisy. Those are your puppy pads. Yeah. Okay. All right, everybody's ready for supper then. Okay, we'll have an early supper today, I guess. Okay, we'll put something good together for you. There's Miss Katie at top of the thing. But anyhow, so that's where it's all at right now. Right? Say, that's where it's all at right now. I was wondering. Sorry, Miss Marigold. I apologize. I heard running water. I was like, what the hell is that? And Miss Marigold's peeing. Sorry. At least she's doing it in the box. We're grateful. Very good. Good job, guys. Good job, everybody. Okay. There's Miss Maggie. There's Gus. So, that's about it. That's where we are. So everybody is okay. Gus is fixed now. And I'm going to worry about taking care of the girls after the holidays. I might have to space them out quite a bit more now that I'm going to have to start paying for a roof. That was a unexpected expense. I was hoping they were just going to be able to do the repairs, but that is not the case. So we'll just figure it out. Right, guys? And say we don't know when that's going to happen. That's probably coming sometime in the next month or so. They said they're about 4 weeks behind from they're still doing people's roofs that got damaged in the hurricane. And this had nothing to do with the remnants of Helene. This was just happened to be all the shingles started coming apart because my roof is just finally getting old and it's time to replace it. So, right, so say, well, that's okay. So we'll just make some adjustments in how we do things, right? And we will get the roof replaced because that's important. Right, guys? Say we weren't going to go into extreme debt just to close in the back porch. That was kind of a privilege. But a roof over your head, that's a little bit different. So that we will go into debt for. And we will pay it off and we will figure it out, right? Because we're not going to get very far if we don't have a roof over our head, are we? That's right. That's right. And so we'll work on spaying Marigold and Daisy sometime, hopefully during December. Maybe I'll see if I can squeeze them in before Christmas, and then we'll worry about Lucy and Mina after the new year, and then that'll be that. Everybody will be done. Oh, and Miss Austin. God bless Miss Austin. You're the cause of it all. We got to make sure we get you spayed, huh, honey? See, you're the reason we have as many as we have, because they're all direct descendants from you. You started the trouble. Yeah, but anyways. All right, well, I'll go ahead and feed these mugs and get them started. If I don't see everybody again, I hope everyone has a very happy Thanksgiving for those that celebrate it. And I hope everybody has a great rest of your weekend. And we'll try to touch base again and let you know how everybody is. We don't do the turkey thing here. Most of them, believe it or not, don't like people food, so they don't want turkey. And then when they do eat turkey, it usually leads to a nightmare in the litter boxes because turkey doesn't always sit so good with these guys. So they'll get turkey-flavored cat food for Thanksgiving. That's about as turkey as they're going to get. So I hope you enjoy your turkey day, and you get to spend it with your family and friends. And we will see you guys maybe next weekend. All right? So you take care now. Bye-bye.